California night carried a cool breeze, but inside the StubHub Center in Carson, the atmosphere burned with anticipation. It was Cinco de Mayo weekend, a sacred battleground in boxing culture, and the crowd pulsed with pride, waving Mexican and Puerto Rican flags under the bright arena lights. This was more than a fight, it was a proving ground. At center stage stood Ryan the Flash Garcia, the undefeated golden boy from Victorville, California. Young, fast, charismatic, and carrying the expectations of a new generation, Garcia had promised fireworks. Across from him stood Jayson Velez of Puerto Rico, a hardened veteran who had walked a longer, rougher road. Velez wasn't here to be anyone's stepping stone. He had worked outside the ring, questioned his future, and clawed his way back for this opportunity. As the referee brought them together and reminded them to keep punches above the belt, the tension thickened. They touched gloves, youth versus experience, speed versus grit. The bell rang, and immediately Garcia's quicksilver hands began probing with sharp jabs, but Velez did not back down. He stepped forward aggressively, crowding the young star, determined to test whether the hype matched the heart. The crowd roared at every exchange. Garcia's speed was evident, but so was Velez's fearlessness. This would not be a showcase, it would be a lesson one way or another. From the opening rounds, it became clear that Jayson Velez had come prepared for war. He pressed forward with calculated aggression, throwing looping overhand rights and forcing Garcia to fight at close quarters. The young phenom tried to establish distance with his jab, snapping it out sharply, but Velez stayed within range, looking to counter whenever Garcia threw single shots. The Puerto Rican veteran understood the assignment: disrupt the rhythm, deny the highlight reel, and turn the night into a dogfight. Garcia landed a crisp right hand midway through the second round that snapped Velez's head back and drew a thunderous reaction from the crowd. For a brief second, Velez's legs stiffened, wobbling just enough to spark excitement, but he steadied himself quickly, firing back with determination. That resilience sent a message: he wasn't going anywhere. Garcia continued flashing brilliance, a lightning left hook here, a sharp uppercut there, but he was learning that patience was necessary. His father and trainer, Henry Garcia, urged him to double the jab and stay composed. The early prediction of a quick knockout suddenly felt ambitious. Velez absorbed the punishment and responded with pressure, refusing to let the moment overwhelm him. The tension in the arena shifted from expectation of an early finish to curiosity about how the young star would adapt under real resistance. By the middle rounds, Ryan Garcia began to make the subtle adjustments that separate talent from true growth. Instead of loading up on flashy single punches, he started stringing combinations together, 3 and 4 shots in fluid succession. He pivoted more, using lateral movement to create space before unleashing counters. Each time Velez stepped forward recklessly, Garcia punished him with precision. A beautifully timed overhand right landed flush, sending another ripple of excitement through the arena. Velez's legs dipped again, and the crowd sensed a turning point. Garcia pressed forward with a sharp left hook followed by a snapping right hand that split the guard. Blood began to trickle from the side of Velez's face, evidence of the accumulating punishment, yet the veteran refused to crumble. He answered with body shots and stubborn forward movement, determined to drag Garcia deeper into the fight. The exchanges grew heavier, the pace more deliberate. Garcia's speed advantage remained clear, but now he was learning to control the tempo rather than chase the knockout. The young contender was evolving round by round, realizing that brilliance alone doesn't end every fight. Sometimes dominance must be built patiently, layer by layer, punch by punch. As the fight entered the later rounds, the narrative shifted from spectacle to substance. Garcia had predicted an early finish, but now he found himself navigating unfamiliar waters. Round 7, round 8, the veteran from Puerto Rico was still standing. The statistics favored Garcia heavily, his punch output and accuracy nearly doubling that of Velez, but numbers don't capture resilience. Velez continued pressing forward, absorbing punishment yet refusing to surrender his ground. Garcia began to box more intelligently, stepping back like a matador and drawing Velez into counters. The left hook, fast and whipping, repeatedly snapped against Velez's jaw. A right hand behind the ear staggered him briefly, and the crowd erupted once more. But each time it seemed the end was near, Velez steadied himself and fired back. This was no longer about knocking out a veteran, it was about proving maturity. Garcia showed composure, conserving energy, breathing steadily and picking his moments carefully. He was no longer chasing applause, he was building a complete performance. Meanwhile, Velez's face bore the marks of battle, blood and swelling, evidence of Garcia's accuracy. Still, his spirit remained intact. He had come to test the prospect, and he had done exactly that. When the 10th and final round began, both fighters understood what the night had become. Garcia was in control, but Velez had earned respect. The crowd remained energized, sensing they were witnessing a chapter in a young star's development rather than just another highlight reel. Garcia boxed smartly, snapping sharp combinations and pivoting out of danger whenever Velez attempted to trap him against the ropes. The Puerto Rican veteran continued pressing forward, throwing everything he had left, but the speed difference was undeniable. Garcia's counters landed cleanly, right hand, left hook, uppercut, each punch punctuating the closing moments. As the final seconds ticked away, Garcia stood tall in the center of the ring, confident yet composed. The bell rang and the arena roared in appreciation. Velez, battered but unbroken, showed sportsmanship, embracing Garcia and even helping place the belt around his waist. Moments later, the official decision echoed through the venue. Unanimous decision victory for Ryan the Flash Garcia. His record improved to 15-0, but more importantly, he had gained experience. This wasn't the early knockout he predicted. It was something far more valuable: rounds, adversity, and growth. On that cool California night, Garcia didn't just win a fight. He took another step toward becoming a complete fighter.